Well, welcome everybody to Tech Tip Tuesday right here at the very last day of January 2023. Man, this month flew by. I don't know for you guys, but it did for me. So I'm glad you guys are here. This is Tech Tip Tuesday. If we're looking for a different call, this is the wrong one. What we do here is we are a chat-based forum where we will take your calls or your questions into the chat, unpack them, open them up, solve them, talk about them, trying to get all the mysteries out of the way. I am honored to be joined by my wonderful co-host, Jake Barron, Head of Operations for Americas. Hi, Jake. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Ken. Hello, everyone. And as you see here, Anthony just put it in the chat. We got Anthony from our tech support team helping out in the chat throughout the call tonight.
Excellent. Thank you, Anthony, for being here. Hello, hello, hello. I'm so blessed to have our customer service people right here. So folks, make sure you bring your questions in and let's solve these mysteries. What we can't do is we can't really treat, diagnose, prevent, or recommend any particular programs for particular issues. But we can certainly talk about how the technology works, connection issues, all kinds of stuff about the Healy systems. So I guess let's get this party started. We already have a question in the chat. So how about we get going? Jake, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So Doreen says that, let's see, you received a replacement watch in December and have not been able to activate it in order to send it back. I'm not sure what, in order to send the new one back, not the new one, probably the old one, right? When you activated your current watch, the app still shows only that current defective watch is available. So again, these are, the app is looking for a Bluetooth signal. And so you've tried everything from letting the battery completely die on the old one to deleting and reinstalling the app, still won't find your new watch. Okay, and you sent in a ticket a month ago. Let's pull that ticket up. If you could private message Anthony with that ticket number, you can go in and take a peek at that for us. And then let's talk about your watch. So just like the Healy itself, it is a Bluetooth connection device. So in other words, the watch app is going to be looking for some signature of a Bluetooth device that matches its expectations, aka your old watch and your new watch. So you said you let the battery die on your old one. You turned on your new watch. In other words, you charged it first. It's all fully charged, cranked it on, and well, it's on anyway, right? And it still won't find that device. Is that correct? I would love to know if you could put in the chat a little more details about that. Yes, you've charged it up. The old watch was dead and the app still will not find your new Healy watch. I want to know if that's the case. Jake, you want to add anything in there?
No, this one's probably best served by Anthony helping out in the chat. And that's why we have someone from our tech support team on these calls for these types of issues that are kind of like a one-off, not necessarily something that is relevant to everybody else. So.
Yeah, the watch is, and we don't get a lot of watch questions, but we do get some. And so it's fun to be able, well, fun, sorry, probably not the right word. For me, it's kind of fun to diagnose and dig into finding solutions. But yes, if you could definitely get your ticket number there to Anthony and let's get that thing solved for you. Okay. Oh, we're, by the way, folks, Jake, you want to tell them about Healy for Beginners Beyond this week?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's do that right at the beginning of the call. So while we're got everyone fresh and on here, we do have our next Healy for Beginners and Beyond this Thursday, February 2nd at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So we've got a great call. Ken and I actually had a meeting earlier today to kind of review the agenda, make sure that we make this call as useful as possible for everybody. So I'm going to share my screen and just give you a sneak peek here. Actually, I think we we talked a little bit about this on What's Up Wednesday last week, but for all of you on this call, so this is what we're going to cover. We've got it's a top 10 of all things Healy users need to know, and this is actually, it's hard to pick 10 things, and you'll see here there's 10 numbers listed here, but there's actually way more than 10 sort of topics that we're going to be talking about. But we're going to try to fit this into an hour-long call this Thursday. We're going to do our best to be efficient and go through this. And this is going to be something that you'll be able to reference and send your teams back to. And of course, it'll be added recording to our YouTube page at HealAmerica.com after the call. But if you can master these 10 topics, it kind of takes care of 90% of the things that come up in the use of the Healy. You know, there's certainly other things that we could talk about on future calls as well, but this is a solid base for anybody either getting started with Healy or a reminder about certain things that you may have forgotten or just never knew really about Healy, even if you've been here for a year or two or more. So join us again. You can join that call at HealAdvisor.com. They'll take you right to our Zoom meeting that starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time this Thursday.
I love it. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be great. I think if we have these resources, and Jake was telling me, he said, you know, the customer service said that if everybody knew those 10 issues right there, their job would be done. They'd be on vacation. But I get it. We do get a lot of the similar questions on this event as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for that, Jake. So everybody, hopefully you got that written down and you're going to send your people there or join it for sure yourself. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Here's one that says, hi team. What is the difference in the vibration times where some have a Z behind the time to vibrate and others don't? So what's being referred to there is within the Blue Dot app or the Resonance app, when you are you've done a scan or something, you're going to transmit or vibrate the frequencies being recommended by the HealAdvisor Analyse app, which is we call affectionately the Blue Dot. There are some preset times in which you can select, some default times in which you can select. There's a drop-down window or arrow and shows a bunch of times there. And some of the ones at the top are like 840Z and there's a Z after them. Others have an S at the end. So the Z stands for a fraction of a second. So in other words, so understand in terms of quantum physics, in the quantum realm, in the field of information, everything works at the speed of light and honestly, even beyond. So what does that mean? That means a fraction of a second is an eternity at the speed of light. Because what's the speed of light? 886,000 miles per second or 300,000 kilometers per second. So that's the speed of light. That's pretty fast, right? It's a bit hard for us to fathom, but light travels extremely fast. And information within our bodies and within the information field travels at the speed of light. And within the body, information travels through light signatures within the water of your body, intracellular, extracellular water within your body. So, so interestingly enough, there is some fractions of a second in there as your times in which you can vibrate. All right. So you could update your information field with just that simple fraction of a second. All right. So that's what the Z stands for, a fraction of a second.
Yeah, that's actually, it comes up occasionally. You know, you look at it and you notice if you look at your time, it's never just, well, you can show it as 890 Z, but it's 56 minutes, say 46 seconds, 514. So you have minutes, seconds, and then the fraction of a second, millisecond. So it's again, it also a little known thing. If you look through the actual HealAdvisor Analyse manual, you'll see that, okay, how do they pick these times? It seems kind of like random. You have like, where do they come up with this? And all these are actually calculated according to the golden ratio. So there's a reason they didn't just come up with this out of the blue. There's a reason behind all these specific durations. So yeah, there's certainly a wide range of transmission times, but there's a good reason why those times were picked.
Yeah, and picking one of those for yourself, there are some recommendations within Healy in terms of whether it be systemic or system-wide or acute, meaning specific to an organ or a cell structure or an issue. So there is information around that. Jake, is that chart still? I haven't seen that chart for a minute.
So that chart actually is not in the Analyze app manual, but every time it comes up, I have people reference the HealAdvisor coaching module video. There's a video in your academy. If you go to academy.healy.world, log in, go to the coaching module section, and there's a video called transmission duration, and it shows that chart of whether you're operating on the conscious or subconscious, something, as far as that goes, and it has recommendations for how long and how many times per day to run the programs.
Yeah, it's the same. So for the coaching module, for the resonance module, it's this. Well, of course, the coaching works similar to the resonance analysis. So, so that chart's going to apply in the same fashion. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Rochelle says, you guys are awesome. I come every week to better serve my team. Thank you. I love that. I love that. Thank you for the kudos. Okay. What do we got? I'm not sure where we are. Let's see. Here's one. MagHealy doesn't work. I can't get any programs to work. And then when the email tells me to go to email to reset my password, nothing is there, no email each time. Okay. So I get this question, or I get this, MagHealy doesn't work. I'm like, okay, so we got to start somewhere and find out what doesn't work. What does that mean? Because are you able to open the apps? Does the Healy pink app, this one, the Healy app, the Healy 2 app, does it work? Is there anything that does work? So we got to start somewhere and find out, are you actually, are the apps opening? There is some very basic information, such as Jake mentioned earlier. We talked about unboxing and Healy for beginners and beyond. How familiar are you with the process, right? So I would like to know a little bit more about the Healy doesn't work. And you're talking about essentially the password, meaning that it sounds like you're trying to log in somewhere. Well, the only time you're going to be logging in is, of course, to this blue dot app that's right here above me here in the picture. This blue dot app, you're going to need to log in to get that done, or to do that, or use that. So let's maybe comment for us. What have you been able to open the Healy 2 app, this one, making sure that you've loaded this one that you see above me, and that you are able to, you have your Healy turned on, and that particular app found your Healy. And that's the step one. So let's talk about that. Show me some more information if you would. Okay.
Yeah, we'll unpack that one or follow back up on that one throughout the call here. So
absolutely.
Gina said that the device turns on, but you can't get any program to work. So yeah, as Ken mentioned, can you actually, because like for instance, the Healy 2 app, the one that Ken pointed to, the replacement for the Healy pink dot app, that one doesn't require any sort of login. You just turn on your device, open the app, connect to the device, and then run the program. So if you can't do that at all, then there's something else going on, as far as maybe somehow the device was deactivated, or it was going through, or I don't know. There's a couple of different things that could be going on there. But if you can use that app, but you can't log in, say, with your email and password to the Analyze app or the HealAdvisor app, that's a different issue too. So But let's see if we can get you fixed on this call. Maybe Anthony can take a look at your device throughout this call too, if you just send a direct message to him with your serial number. So.
Yes, as Jake mentioned, well, let's look at it this way as well. Loading this app right here, having it turned on or loaded onto your smart device. Of course, that's always step one, to have the apps on. It doesn't matter if it's Healy or if it's any other app-driven hardware. So then once you have the app loaded, the app is essentially just a skeletal structure. So in other words, if you were to try to open that app from your smart device, it really doesn't do anything. So it needs to then find a Healy to attach to, and that Healy then is connected to your account. Everybody who has a Healy purchased it through a unique account, which gave you a cloud account. It was the serial number of your hardware was assigned to you. And sometimes there's been a couple of times where a brand new customer or member has gotten their device and it didn't get activated from logistics when it was shipped out. And so we need to find out if that's what's going on with you. And the way to do that is, of course, making sure the app is loaded, starting with this one right above me here, and then we can move forward from there. Okay. Let's see. Can you please explain the significance of the number and the Z when we select transmission times?
I think the same question that we just...
we were talking about that. Hopefully you heard what we were talking about. So there's another follow-up part of that is why do the numbers change for different times? In other words, there's unique numbers, 5 minutes, 59 seconds. That's all, as Jake mentioned earlier, part of a
yeah, it's the golden ratio. And then, you know, we can, if you want to just Google that, it'll tell you a little bit more about that particular calculation or the specific numbers, how they're picked there. So
yeah, I mean, there's also a custom. You can actually make your own numbers. I like to use a lot of intuitive information within myself. You know, if I wanted to do my own numbers, there's a lot of question around how long do I vibrate this content? A lot of questions. I choose a database. I get an analysis. I find my top 5 items within that database. Now I'm ready to vibrate. What do I do? Or how long do I know? I mean, all these questions. How long do I go for the vibration? Remember what I said, your field. So the blue dot is working with your bioenergetic field. What is that? This is an information field that is above the tangible 3D matter. It's the consciousness of you. It's within the quantum field. And the program is quantumly entangling between this blueprint, I call it the blueprint of us, and the physical body of us. There is a signature, you know, of who we are that's above and outside this tangible body. All right. That signature is not really obstructed. It's not in disorder. It's not until that signature or the potential for you to be filtered through this consciousness, through this mind, and then becomes matter, the material body. This is why people of the same age, even twins, from the same genetic code, one can be in optimal health and the other one in complete disease and disorder. And it's because that consciousness that's essentially driving the genetic expression is different between one or the other. So this information field that you guys are tapping into with Healy, it's pure, it's in good shape, it's not disordered. And Healy is building the bridge for that signal or that code or that information to this biological field. And to do the upgrade within the energetic field, it's instantaneous. You don't have to vibrate for hours or days or even minutes. Seconds will do it. However, the mind needs to believe in what you're doing. So if you believe you need 5 minutes, then take 5 minutes. but pay attention closely to the results of that vibration. Pay attention closely to the shifts and changes over the next days or hours or weeks. Pay attention closely, because sometimes these balances of your energetic field come up in physical symptoms. Okay, we're going to talk about a little bit of that on Healing for Beginners and Beyond this week. All right.
So next question I have here, it says in the HealAdvisor app, talking about the search module, what is the difference between All Healy IMF programs and Healy IMF programs? So it's actually pretty simple. All it does when you click All Healy IMF programs, it automatically clicks all the topics underneath. It's basically just saving you some time. So if you do All Healy IMF programs, it's going to pick bioenergetic vitalization, the animal programs, everything underneath there. If you just click Healy IMF programs, it's not going to select those automatically. So it's pretty similar, but it's just a quick feature to select the first one if you have all those modules already on your device. Nothing tricky there.
A way of just making it efficient.
Yeah.
And if you don't have some of those physical programs and you want to be able to use them on the microcurrent side or the Healy 2 app, then if you deselect them, right, then they won't show up in your scan. So, just all right. So Doreen has a little follow-up to the watch question, which I think hopefully Anthony's working on that. So yes, the old watch was dead and still won't locate the new watch. So I'm not sure if you guys are working on that together, but thank you for that clarification. It makes a difference. The old watch is out of the question. It's turned off, and the only thing that's available for it to find is a new watch, and it can't find that. We need to take a look at that app a little bit. Okay.
Next question's from Regina, who she's started with Healy about 4 years ago. Wow. So welcome, one of our Healy veterans to the call. But she, when she first joined, she missed the email with the original welcome message and the link to log in and make an account. She receives emails, but she wants to replace some of the connection cords, cables. She's unable to log in because there's no account for me. So so we actually switched over to a completely new shop platform in July of 2021. So if you have not logged into the shop since then, which it sounds like you haven't, there's probably no shop account set up for you in the new system. So I'm going to send you, I'll put into the chat here, a password reset link, because we have this page here. It's a reset. Basically, if your account was created prior to July 2021 or after July 2021, prior to this reset link can go through the process and actually create that shop account for you while it's resetting the password. So I'll send that to you. Try that out. Hopefully that works for you. If not, we can certainly try something else here to help you get set up so you can get those cables ordered.
Yeah, somewhere around July 7th of 2021, flies by, 2021, July 7th, when we switched over to.
Yeah, the date for this cutoff, for this password reset is July 10th or before. So
yeah, so somewhere around the 7th, there was it went out to everybody.
Yeah.
And that was a portal in which you clicked on the portal and it took you into your login, basically, and your opt-in, and that just made it easy. But there's still a way around that. Okay.
So Regina, I just put the link into the chat here. So if you want to go ahead and try that.
So folks, by the way, I want to remind everybody that if you want to save the chat, if you're on your PC or your Mac, your computer, and you want to save the chat, right next to the little smiley face in the chat area, there's 3 little dots. Click on those 3 little dots. It'll give you the opportunity to save chat. And at the end of the call, you'll get a message on your computer to save chat. So all this information will be there for you. All right. So Marge is asking, can one run the coil at the same time as the wristbands with 2 Healy devices? If so, does each device need to have all the programs? The question was whether one could get a device without programs and operate both through the programs on the phone. Okay. So 2 questions there, actually, two categories. One is, yes, you can run 2 Healys at the same time, one with microcurrent, one with the coil. Both Healys are going to have a serial number assigned to them, and each serial number is going to be attached to the program groups it has available. In other words, the edition which was purchased, it was purchased under. So if you purchase the gold edition, and then a serial number is assigned as that device. If you got the professional, there's a serial number assigned to that edition or to that package, and then you can't switch them. Okay, so you're going to have what you have for that serial number assignment, but you can use them both simultaneously. You're going to be limited to the programs in which each will run based on the edition it was purchased under. Okay, and we're actually going to kind of talk about that on Healy for Beginners and Beyond, how to run 2 devices. We've talked about it before and demonstrated that too. I do it often, because I mean, think about it. If you're, let's just say my favorite in the fitness page, if I'm going to go work out and I want to optimize muscle. Now it depends on what I'm going to do. I'm lifting weight. I'm going to run the muscle program to optimize all of the microcurrent. I'm going to run it with the wristbands and all the microcurrent applications to increase all of the things within the cells of my body. Okay. So in other words, what happens when we apply microcurrent? Studies show up to an increase of 500% in ATP production. That's the energy within the cell. It shows, research is showing that up to 70% increase in protein synthesis and an increase of up to 40% in amino acid transport. All of that is based on the microcurrent application, not the coil nor the information field, microcurrent. Studies are showing all this. So if I want all that to be happening in my body, then I'm going to run the microcurrent into my body using the muscle program. So I'm energizing all of that modality while I'm lifting. Simultaneously, I can actually run another Healy, say with the coil, and I can run, say, from the same fitness program, the program called Strength. So now what I'm doing is I'm sending a magnetic signal from the coil into my body, and my body decodes it at the level of the genetic code. And it takes that information, and as I'm building muscle systems, cells and structures, I'm also getting an added feature of magnetic signal saying strength. So what's that saying? I'm building strong muscle, right? Those are 2 very synergistic programs that I can run together. No different than you from the learning page running, say, memory and I don't know, exam.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So take a look at these programs, how they can run synergistically within the meridian programs and say some of the chakras or organs. And there are lots of ways you can mix and match. So you're working on 2 different modalities within the influence of the body. Okay. But again, each serial number is allocated just the program group that it has. Now, of course, you can upgrade any device up to another level. Okay. What's the link for Thursday's beginner call?
I just put that into the chat again. It's HealyFBB.com. And that takes you right to the Zoom meeting that starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday.
So you know what that stands for, right? Healy for Beginners and Beyond.com. HealyFBB.com. All right. Let's see. Looks like let's see.
The question, this is it's an interesting question I think we got here. It says, Amy said she can log into my.healy.world. So that's the link to log into Backoffice. But when she tries to access support or the academy, it asks me to sign in again, which currently it does do that. So we are working on a single. So you'll notice if you're logged into your shop, the single sign-on typically works, or right now it works between shop, academy, and support center, but not yet Backoffice. So that's going to be integrated here in the near future to where if you're logged into Backoffice or shop or whatever, any of these platforms, you shouldn't have to log in to the other. But right now, if you're logged into Backoffice, that's the one that's separate from everything else. So that is correct that it should ask you to log in again right now, but she's saying that she's using the same login information to log into support or academy, but it's not letting her in. So that's a different issue there, because there is, even though the single sign-on isn't yet in place for all those platforms, you can log in using the same information. There only is one password for all those platforms, even though they're not all single sign-on completely. So I'm wondering if maybe, I mean, I don't know, it could be if you have your password set to autofill, that it's maybe using a different one or an old one. Maybe try opening up Academy or the support center in a private browser, incognito browser, and actually type it in again as a fresh, type in the email address or username, type in the password manually and see if you can get in that way, because there is only one password stored in our systems to be able to let you log into our, whether it's Backoffice or shop or our Healy apps too. So Ken, anything else you could think of in that situation?
Well, so your advice to go to an incognito window would be the best scenario. I would highly recommend. And if you don't know what that means, is within your browser window, at the very top right corner, there's usually 3 little dots or something like that. You can click on it. It'll drop down a menu that says incognito window, meaning that none of the, what we call cookies or browser history or any of that's attached to that incognito window. And that way, when you go in there, you're going to have to freshly type in all the login credentials. And the email versus username, that's a difference too. So you're probably able to log into your Backoffice using your username and password, right? But you try it in another way. It's not in other form. It's not working. It should, but again, try that incognito window. And instead of using your username, try your email and password. Just do some combinations within that incognito window. That reset link, is that what, did you give that? Was that for Amy, that reset link? Or was it?
Yes, that was for people that joined prior to July 2021. There's actually a reset link for people that joined after July 2021. So I'll put another link into the chat here, and that way you can pick if you want to do the before July 2021 or the after July 2021 to see.
And that portal is going to, again, is going to verify, it's going to send things to your email address that's on your file, on your account. And that portal is going to help you to reset your password. And then once you've got that password reset, it should propagate into both locations, the shop and the Backoffice. Know that those are 2 different entities right now, like Jake said. Eventually there'll be a crossover where it's all going to connect, but just one thing. All right. So Karen says, I can't get any program to work. Okay. I'm assuming that you and Anthony are chatting in the background, Karen. So you can actually, if you want to send just to Anthony, right there where you're sending on your Zoom page, right there where you're putting your message in, there's a little drop down arrow under everyone. You can click a drop down and you can choose just Anthony, and you can private message back and forth to Anthony if you guys are doing that.
Okay.
Okay.
So the question about the MagHealy, specifically the atmosphere programs, there's no duration time. So what does one do? Yeah, so that is by design. You'll see the duration is listed as infinity. Essentially, it doesn't stop. So if you have your MagHealy on the charger and plugged in, it will just continue to run, past or however long you want it to, because it's designed as the name of the program group for the atmosphere. So there is no specific transmission duration time for you specifically. All the other programs, the water one, of course, you put on top of the water to inform it with those quantum analyzed frequencies. But for the atmosphere, it's just in general versus the other ones where you're actually placing the MagHealy on your body somewhere. So there is no, you can run it for 15 minutes or you can run it for 4 hours. It's kind of up to you there.
Anytime you see that infinity sign, you know what that looks like. It's just going to run forever.
Yep.
Okay. Bennett says, I can see chat and participants list, but my screen is black and there's no sound. So this is I don't know if you can hear me if there's no sound. This is a Zoom issue, settings from your end. But it works on your phone. So within your Zoom platform, I would log out and log back in. And then when it's coming on, it's going to ask you some questions about use computer audio, ask some questions and say yes. It's going to ask you about, video on. It's going to ask you some questions. So try logging out and log back in on the Zoom platform. See what that does. Okay. Let's see, where are we? Hi there, everyone. You got the MagHealy question. All right, here's one. Dean says, I know that we shouldn't put the adhesive pads or electrodes by the heart or neck, etc. Loading up the question here. But is it safe to keep the Healy close to your chest and heart? What's the difference? So the Healy, if you just have the hardware and nothing connected to it, the Healy does have a frequency generator inside. And when it's running those programs, all of the frequencies that are showing up on your app, those frequencies are being transmitted into free space. Okay. And how do we know that? Well, take a look at the bioenergetic defense page, where it shows that you don't have to connect anything to it. You just put it in your pocket, clip it to your shirt pocket or on your waistband, and you're running some of those programs from that particular program group. That's sending signal out of the Healy device hardware itself, and you don't need to be connected. But you'll notice if you choose one of those programs, you'll say you can optionally connect the leads and the wristbands or sticky pads to your body, and you will feel the microcurrent going through your body. So the distinct difference here is that if the reason the Healy is saying don't put the electrodes near your heart or near the neck is because you're running microcurrent from point A to point B of the electrodes. Microcurrent. Now it's very small microcurrent, but it doesn't take much to interfere with nerve signals within the body. So basically that microcurrent shouldn't be run through those areas, those regions. But you can have the Healy next to you because those frequencies being sent out, those are magnetic signals. And anytime your body's exposed to a magnetic signal, we can call it EMF if you want, electromagnetic force or electromagnetic frequency. Anytime your body is exposed to a magnetic signal, the body's like an antenna, and that magnetic signal induces current flow into the body, which is information, and the body interprets it, takes it or leaves it. It's its own discretion, right? It takes it in or does not, depending on the amplitude of the signal. Like the Healy has a very low amplitude, so it's not giving the body a ton of this magnetic energy. It's just subtle. It's very subtle. And so the nervous system has more I don't know, more shielding, or actually I should say more strength in its transmission, and can overcome that magnetic energy, that magnetic influence. So it's safe to have the Healy running on you, just like it's safe to have the MagHealy running on you with no connections, whether it's by your heart, by your neck. We just don't want that microcurrent running through those regions. Does that make sense? You're muted, Jake.
I was gonna say, I just put another link into the chat here. There's a great video in Academy, was added about 2 months ago, a new series of videos specifically for the Healy 2 app. And there's the first one, the guide for your Healy device. Near the end of that video, it has information about adhesive electrode placement, about what to look out for and where not to put them. So definitely check that out if you're wanting. It has some visuals in there as far as what to look out for and where to properly place them.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, I love the new Academy content. It's, man, loving it. Let's see. Lori says, in the pink app, it says under Bioergenic 1, mature woman and woman. Those two programs don't match in the blue app. In the Bioergenic 1, in blue app, it says menopause and menstruation local. Okay, so there is a merging. Some of the programs on the apps, Healy's gone global in terms of the names within these program groups. And so that's still being integrated in terms of matching the two. So Jake, any follow-up on that? I mean, that's still happening, or where are we on that?
No, there's been some updates to the Healy 2 app as far as program names, and then it takes a while to update all these databases on all the platforms. So, they're occasionally the timing is off, but long term these things will be matched up. So
yeah, and it's good that you're seeing, though, Lori, is you're seeing a correlation, right, between the programs within the app and the pink dot app and the blue dot app. You're seeing the correlation. So they are the same. It's just names are still trying to become unified. I know we're trying to make things global within all these different markets and what we can say and not say. Compliance wise, that's makes it fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Melinda says, I'm unable to use the toggle on my scans that allows me to delete or name the scan. Is it the grandfathered Healy? It's the grandfather Healy. So you're unable to use the toggle to rename? I don't know that there's any change been done there. In other words, within
you should be able to delete it. If you swipe over to the left, the delete option would come up, but I'm wondering
whether it be the grandfathered or the new one, and folks that are new here, the grandfather means it's, there's some Healys that were early on in.
Yeah, there's slight differences in maybe the databases between some of the grandfather one versus some of the newer Healys that were purchased, but the functionality of the app itself wouldn't be dependent upon when you had your Healy. So, there's not a version of the Analyze app for grandfathered Healys versus newer Healys. So I'm wondering what might be.
Yeah, if we look at like Jake said, so the app is the app, right? The app is the app. It uses the Healy hardware and your account essentially the same. So if there's a particular list that you're trying to edit, I'm wondering if it's the list itself. where you're trying to edit that. Let me see here. So there's a function in which we could rename a list. You do a scan and you can rename a list, customizing essentially. Let's see.
I'm trying to think back now because there has been several updates to the Analyze app recently. I don't remember 100% if that was one of the features. Again, sometimes certain things are changed or limited for compliance reasons due to consistency from market to market. So I'm just going to see if I can go back here and look to see if that was.
Well, I'm wondering, are you also looking at, you're trying to, let's see, you're trying to edit a resonance scan or an aura scan? Because you go to the aura scans, you can actually edit. There's an edit function within the aura scans. You can change things, all the contents within that scan. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm not familiar with anything that changed there. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll see if we can find out some more information, but we'll move on here. We've got a ton of questions still and only 15 minutes left. So Marjorie has her daughter has a MagHealy. She got the app to load and connect, but it's showing only one program. So she needed Wi-Fi to get the other program. She is connected, but still is not loading the other program. So that, it sounds like she's not, for some reason, not seeing the update. And I think it was on, sorry, was it one of our last calls? Ken, you did a screen share and showed how to manually check for updates in the MagHealy or the Healy 2 app. And that is something that I think Anthony is helping her out with this particular issue. But there is a way, if you go to the settings and then their MagHealy section, and then next to the version number, if you click the arrow next to it, it will manually check for updates. So, and also if you want to just, there's no harm in just deleting that app again and reinstalling it and seeing if the update will pop up that way too. Because you're not going to lose any data or anything like that on the Healy 2 app. So, but the first time you use that app, yes, that is normal for this to be one program showing. But at the very top of the program page, there should be an update that says, "Do you want to download it or load this update?" Click OK, and then all the programs would populate from there. So, if Anthony's helping you out, great. If not, you can also just try deleting that app. And reinstalling and see if you can get it to pop up that way. And make sure you have a good connection.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, Jake and I. Even though you've got Wi-Fi, so you got the little fan on your smart device or whatever, that fan is full signal. Get all what looks like the bars and the Wi-Fi. That's just saying that your smart device and the router, the wireless router within your area, just simply has radio signal. Doesn't mean that router is feeding internet access at all. That doesn't mean that. So you may want to turn the Wi-Fi off and try your cellular data as a way of updating. Okay. I can actually, let's see. We have another question here.
We have a lot of other questions here.
Okay. All right. So there's a question here about what would be good programs to run. What would be good programs to run, obviously in the Blue app while swimming laps? Well, again, we can't really recommend, but if you're looking at logically what would benefit the body when you're doing physical exertion, we have a fitness page, right, with all kinds of goodies on it. So take a look at that.
Yep.
Okay. What's the difference between getting referrals and members? So I mean, everybody who is a member within Healy, you have essentially a business model. You've opted into the comp plan, you understand the comp plan, or you're essentially an independent distributor of Healy. And so then you can sell and create teams and an income stream within the Healy model. You can enroll customers or additional members that have the same referral process. So you as a member are a referrer. So you can then refer Healy out to other people. They can purchase through you, and or other people can feed you referrals, and then you can be the sponsor for those individuals. Okay. Let's see. Amy says, I've tried in different platforms and manually still not working. Is that with the login? Was what Amy was struggling with? Sorry, Amy, we're yeah. So Amy's tried different platforms. I'm assuming different browsers, and still not able to log in. Yeah, so that reset link that Jake provided, that's probably going to be your go-to.
Definitely give that a try.
You use that reset link, and then log in through that portal.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to let you reset everything. Well, reset your password. Your email is your unified link to your account. You can't change that yourself. Customer service has to help you with that if that's something goes wrong there. But your email and your username, those are pretty much your set pieces. Your password you can adjust. Address, that kind of stuff.
Yep. So Maria had I think maybe she asked this question while you were answering it. So you could have already mentioned it. Is it okay to wear the Healy by the heart or the collar of your shirt, which is close to the neck? So yeah, I mean, if you see most people wearing the Healy, it is in general in this area. And as Ken mentioned, there's no microcurrent coming out of just the Healy device itself. It's going into wherever you have the electrodes placed. So, and that's the main thing to look out for there.
Yeah, like I'm wearing it with the electrodes. So the main current flow is going through, and I'm connected to my wrist. So that's going through the body via the electrodes. At the same time, Healy's sending out the frequencies out of this generator, and that's going into my body as well. But it's subtle. It's okay to have that near my heart or near the arterial waves, and it's okay. All right. Let's see. Jenny says, sorry if you already covered this. What is the difference between a Kozyrev mirror and a quantum sensor, and what information they give? And to be clear, the Healy does not have a Kozyrev mirror, and the MagHealy has two. So thanks for that question, Jenny. Yeah, so the difference, a Kozyrev mirror is an isolating chamber. It's designed to essentially be a umbrella or an isolation system. MagHealy has two Kozyrev mirrors in it, and a Kozyrev mirror is a way of taking photonic energy and accelerating it beyond the speed of light. So it's like a 0-point field. It's a shielding mechanism, and that's what it's in the MagHealy. There's the two of them. One is a shielding internally around the quantum sensor, and the other is externally. So in other words, it's creating a shielding in the outer environment, and the other one's inner environment. And just so that the quantum sensor has a more clean signal, I should say. The Healy doesn't have one in it, but it uses the reason that Healy even came about was to give a personable, wearable time waver system. And it took Marcus 10 years to make it small enough and operate on its own, an AI system. So you could take the practitioner out of the equation. So it didn't need to have as much filtering as, say, the time waver or even what MagHealy does. So what Healy has is an AI system that does most of the distinct printing for you. It uses a resonance feedback so that now you're getting the resource pool of frequencies and the uniqueness of your body are being measured through a resonance process. And then the frequencies are chosen through that, as opposed to more of an information field system. And yet with the blue dot, you have a custom, a client that creates the coordinates for this interface. So it's kind of a bigger topic. When we're talking the quantum sensors, I know what it's working on. It's using a system of almost kind of random generation signaling, but influenced by consciousness within this little guy. It's the quantum sensor essentially is a word that Marcus created with his team in terms of how a very specific PN junction functions. And that's more electrical talk, but it literally is a bridge between information within the Healy or the databases and information of you in the outside world. It's this bridge where electron flow interfaces with the environment. I don't want to get too technical because it will probably lose a lot of people. Just know it's reading the field, doesn't need so much the Kozyrev mirror to give you an analysis between your body and your information field. I'm not sure, Jenny, if I cleared that up for you, or you're going to have more questions, I'm sure. You know how to get a hold of me.
All right, so the next question I see here is sometimes it takes a very long time to back up the Analyze app. What is causing it and what can be done to speed it up? So that really depends on multiple factors. It depends on how much data you have stored in on your cloud account. If you have 100 clients and 1,000 lists, and there's a lot of data there, so it really depends on that, and then also your connection speed. So if you have a lot of data and a not so fast connection, if you're using Wi-Fi, maybe that's not that fast, or you're using cellular, it's not that fast, it can take a good amount of time to sync and back up. So as far as what can be done to speed it up, a faster connection or clearing out some of the data. I mean, as far as what could be done there, any other tips there?
Yeah. So by the way, folks, you may have, like I said earlier, a great full fan Wi-Fi signal on your smart device. You could also have great connection between your smart device, I should say the Wi-Fi and the internet. However, whatever the slowest portion of that entire model is, will be the bottleneck slowing down information. So the bandwidth in which your Wi-Fi is operating on is relative to your service and the connection that your router has to the outside world, whether it be a phone connection, a coax connection, a fiber optic cable, whatever. So there's a lot of factors here. And as Jake said, the amount of the content in which is being transferred, uploaded between the cloud and your account, the amount of content is huge. So it's going to vary. I recommend that we do a backup more frequently if you're using your device a lot, creating a lot of lists, adding a lot of clients, you maybe want to back up every day as opposed to once a week. When you have, when you says that the number of items to back up and there's 5,620, that's a lot. Last time I backed up was 30 days ago. Well, that's too long. So start metering how often you back up. That will help to make the content smaller. Okay. Wow, we are at the end of our hour. Jake, you want to do a lightning round? Anything we want to grab real quick here?
Another question, just to close out the topic that Doreen had about when is it not okay to wear the Healy near your forehead or around your neck. So if you're running, it's not the Healy device placement itself, it's the placement of either wristband electrodes, adhesive electrodes. And again, that video that I put in the link in the chat earlier, just going to mention, don't put it crossing the heart. There's specific locations where you don't want to put the electrodes, but the actual Healy device itself isn't what you're looking out for. So
yeah, exactly. This little Healy device, all the signals it sends out when you're not connected to it, you're not connected in any way, whether you're just running the Healy or you've got the coil plugged in, that's magnetic energy, subtle magnetic energy. It can be anywhere around your body. And your body helps edit, I guess you might say is a good word, the information that it utilizes. It's not going to disrupt a pacemaker or any kind of nervous system stimuli. It's not going to do any of that because, again, think about it. This Healy, it doesn't have a huge battery source, so the amplitude of its transmission is low. It's subtle. So you're okay. You're safe. All right. Okay. Thank you guys for being here. Of course, we're here every week. So if we didn't get to your question, I'm sorry. But definitely come back next week. Join us, please, for Thursdays, Healy for Beginners and Beyond. We're going to do our best to create some categories there that are useful down the road. And don't forget, tomorrow is our global frequencies and friends call. So you should have gotten an email, and you do need to register for that call. So even if you can't attend at the time it's being broadcast in your time zone, still register because you'll be able to access the recording with that same invitation link. Okay, so definitely get on that, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll see you again on Thursday, right?
Yep.
Join us every week, guys. We'll be here. Have a great night. Thanks again. Thanks, Jake.
Thanks, Anthony.
See you guys.
Yeah.